And leaders and people that have make a difference in people's lives and have a big influence in others, they have every piece of their life where they are strong. But it really comes down to the ability to lead and lead people and recruit great people to build a great company. Is your actions speak so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. I love that quote. I love it because it just gives people like me who started with nothing and kind of created a business and created an opportunity. It gave me a shot. All right, all right, all right. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. We're going to get things started. I want to welcome everyone to March 8th, 2024, Clear Channel. You know, our mission on the Clear Channel is to help change the world one leader at a time. And, today I'm going to talk about leadership and what it means and what it looks like. And my hope is that we can make a difference in your leadership skills and how you make an impact on people. So leadership, leadership is, and I'm going to jump right in. Leadership is influence, nothing more or nothing less. Leadership is all about influence. Leadership is not a title. It's not something that, just because you're given a role or a position, that you have the ability to make a difference. It must be earned. It must be earned, and it's something that you have to earn on a daily basis. So what I want to talk about is there's some misconceptions and some misnomers when it comes to leadership, and there's 4 or 5 of them. The first one is the difference between management and leadership. So management is something where people manage a process. They manage procedures. Leadership is not management. Leadership is making an impact on people. So it's so often that you'll find managers that aren't great leaders, and there's great leaders that are great managers. And so when it comes to the leadership side of things, remember, leaders drive behavior. They make an impact on people. And I'll tell you, there's so often times that, in the industry that I'm in and developing leaders and developing business people and even in coaching entrepreneurs and people I work with, they get caught up sometimes in kind of the day-to-day, the day-to-day process of things. So there's a saying I have, it's people before paperwork. When your staff is in the office, when your staff is near you, put things aside. Don't get caught up in all the day-to-day, setting things up or making, I remember when I was a young leader in business, I remember my manager, or my leader, really, not my manager, my leader says to me, "What are you doing making badges? Why are you making badges when the team is here?" It's like you're missing the boat. It's not about the badges. It's not about getting materials. It's about making a difference in people. Do that stuff ahead of time. There's a meeting today we have where we have something called team meeting, crew meetings. People that get caught in that meeting and they're still writing things down and they're still trying to prepare for the meeting, they're missing the boat. That stuff should be done ahead of time. It should be prepared. When they come in and they review data and they're in front of staff, they should be ready to go to lead and make a difference. So number one misconception with management and leadership is that management and leadership are the same thing. And it's not. Leaders have a certain behavior. They make an impact on people. The second misconception about leadership is that salespeople are great leaders. That's not true. That's not true. I've met a ton of people in sales that are awful leaders. And the interesting thing is the reason why they unfortunately don't evolve into becoming a great leader when they all have the potential, they all have the talent, they all have the ability to, is they feel because they're good at in an interaction with a customer, because they have great people skills, or they have the ability to win over a customer and get them a new product or a new service, or they catch the person at a good time. The salespeople, when they evolve themselves into a place where they want to make a difference in others, they start to realize that they actually have to make changes inside. And so when people move from being just good in sales, because keep in mind, people will get recognition. Well, people will, and especially in the industry we're in, we're gonna definitely give people some love for their performance. But just because somebody makes $1,000 in a week doesn't mean I want to listen to them and get life advice from them, or that I want to be in a position where I want to learn from them about business and how to raise a great family. And the reason is that there's only one piece of their life that they're good at. And leaders and people that make a difference in people's lives and have a big influence in others, they have every piece of their life where they are strong. Or if they're young in their careers, they're maybe not the best at certain areas. They're working really hard to improve these areas. There's a group chat we have, and I think he may be on today. My buddy Keith is, in the gym. He's working on his health, and he's really trying to get his life, his whole entire being, to a great place. Someone like that I would follow. Someone like that I would want to be influenced by. Great in sales for sure. And then he's taking all these little things to work on his habits and work on his life. Man, that's a guy I would follow. And keep in mind, it's not just because of the sales, it's because he cares about being a great human, cares about raising his game and his habits and his skill sets. And people will ask themselves, really, when it comes to leadership and it comes to, maybe if they want to be influenced by someone in sales, they're going to ask themselves, is my life going to be better if I hang out with this individual? Or when I walk into their house, I walk into their bedroom, or I get around them as human beings, is it a shit show? If I walk into someone's home, as an example, and things are everywhere, clothes on the ground, and just things are all over the place, like the disorder, like I don't want to live that person's life. I will only give them a certain amount of influence on me if I don't feel like they live the life that I want to live. And keep in mind, again, if you're young in your career, it doesn't mean you got to have a big home, you got to have lots of stuff. It's what you do have. Are you working your way to be strong? Are you organized? Are you, do you take time to clean your car? Do you take time to keep things tidy? I remember young in my career, every Sunday, I used to go get my car washed. I drove a Honda Accord, a little two-door Honda Accord EX. It was like an old, banged up Honda, but I made that thing look pristine. Because I felt like when in the business that I'm in, I felt like if I was ever training somebody, or I was ever in a role where I'd take responsibility for someone in the role I was in, they would have to get in my car because they would ride with me to different appointments in different places. And I want them to get in the car and actually be like, man, this is pretty nice. It's not a nice car, but you take care of it. Yeah, I care about how things look. I care about how people perceive me. And those were little things I think people miss out on. And just remember, it's a different level of thinking. If you're in sales and you want to lead, you oftentimes have to look in the mirror and make some real changes. The third misconception is that people that have a lot of knowledge will be great leaders. I've met a lot of people with a really high IQ, really, really smart people. There's an old saying that knowledge is power. True. Having a lot of knowledge, it can create some opportunities for sure. But having a high IQ, or being a professor in a college, or having an incredible understanding, like being a scientist or something, like these things are all incredible things. But knowledge, again, doesn't mean that you're going to have influence. Yes, you may share some information. Yes, you may share some great thoughts, but it doesn't mean I would want to follow them. Let's say that scientist starts a company. Let's say that scientist has this incredible idea that changes the world. It doesn't mean we're going to follow them unless they have great leadership skills. And again, they're a great person. So that's number three, is knowledge doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a great leader. Number four is being a pioneer. Oftentimes people feel like if I'm the first to market, or I'm the first to do something, that will create an opportunity to lead at a high level. Although it will give you some opportunities for sure. Just because you're the first doesn't mean that you're going to be the best. You can look at lots of different industries. You can look at, just the social media that a lot of people, spend time on a daily basis. Facebook wasn't necessarily they weren't the first, social media company out there. Instagram, all of these, they weren't the first to market. They definitely had a head start, but it really comes down to the ability to lead people and recruit great people to build a great company that will have people move on. I'm not saying Facebook is or isn't a great company. I'm just saying they weren't the first to market. But again, leadership is influence. Just because you're the first at something doesn't mean you're going to be the best. So you got to work on the things in your world to help you improve. And then last but not least, and I think this is probably the most important thing to remember when it comes to leadership, and it comes to being responsible for others. I think sometimes people feel because they're a trainer or a manager, and they have someone assigned to them as a trainee or someone new on staff in their organization. I think sometimes they think just because I'm in a certain position, someone is going to be that I'm pre-qualified essentially to be their leader. And that couldn't be far from the truth. What'll happen is that'll actually buy you a little bit of time, that people will allow themselves to listen, and they'll allow themselves to be influenced to an extent. But after about 30 days in a relationship, with a manager or someone new on the staff, or a leadership role, a trainer or a trainee, right about 30 days is when the trainee is going to ask themselves if they have the right leader, have the right trainer. And this is in what I've seen in lots of different companies, lots of different industries. And it's interesting because it's not the position that makes the leader. It's not the role that makes the leader. It's actually the leader that makes the position. It's the leader that makes the role what it is. And again, philosophy that I live by, and the philosophy that I built in my company, and the companies that I mentor, and the people that I work with, the kind of the mindset that I try to pass on is it's about people, and showing people that you care, and taking people to maybe a breakfast or a dinner, or just hanging out with them, getting to know them as human beings. I've learned through my own, people that I allow to influence me, and that have made a difference in my life. I've learned that the people that have spent the most time with me and just take time to, it's the old saying that people don't care what you know until they know that you care. Um, those people in my world, I listen to when they walk in the room, and as they make a difference in the business world, and make a difference in philanthropy. These are the people that I would be around. But remember, again, if you're in leadership, and you want to make a difference in other people's lives, remember that position you hold will only give you a little bit of time to have influence. Because over time, again, they're going to start asking themselves, "Is oh man," because people that dream, people that have really big goals, people that want to accomplish really neat things, is they're going to ask themselves, is if I hang on to this person's coattails based on who they are, not the role they're in, not the business they're in, not the things they say they're going to do, not the I don't know, fancy clothes they wear or cars or whatever, not this, it's nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with who they are, how they treat people, how hard they work on themselves, how much they inspire you through the habits they have. And again, they may not have a lot, but they inspire you through their actions. They talk about the world, the dream, the things they want to accomplish. And they're going to ask themselves, if I hang on to this person's coattails, are they going somewhere that I want to go? Are their goals so big and they back it up with their actions? One of the most the famous, one of my favorite sayings, and there's a pretty famous saying, is your actions speak so loudly I can't hear what you're saying. I love that quote. I love it because it just gives people like me who started with nothing and kind of created a business and created an opportunity. It gave me a shot because when I didn't have a lot to show for it, I just backed it up through my actions by getting in really early, by working really hard, by doing things myself outside of work. And that's where I gained my ability to make a difference and have influence on people. But just remember, influence is something that people allow you to have. It's not something that's going to be given. It is absolutely earned. It's like it's like rent. You got to pay it every month. You got to earn it every month. You got to get out and earn it every day to take care of it every month. But just remember, if you think you're a leader and you have no one following you, you're just out for a walk. You're not a leader quite yet, and that's okay. That is totally okay. The way you get to the point in your life and your career that you are starting to make an influence and starting to be a real leader, it's when you start taking your heart, your mind, and the things that you want to accomplish, and you start taking you seriously and you leveling up your life. It's an inside outside thing. It starts inside and then it goes outside into your world. But when you start taking that seriously, then you'll be able to earn the opportunity to make a difference. And I can share with you, just not just in business, but being a dad and having an impact on family and others. It's an incredible opportunity. It's something that a few people have the ability to do, and it is a responsibility that is not taken lightly for people who do it right and people who do it with integrity and do it with character. It's definitely something that's an incredible thing to do. So again, if you have in your life, in your career, and in what you're doing, if you're watching today and you're thinking about, hey, I want to lead, I want to make a difference, and yes, it's a responsibility. And people that are great leaders, a lot of times they make a lot of money. They do really, really well because they make a difference. And it's how the universe works. It's going to repay you and how much you make a difference in other people's lives. But again, leadership is not a title. It must be earned. Just be aware of the management and leadership thing. Don't get too focused on the paperwork. Don't too focused on the processes. Get in front of the people. Remember, if you're in sales and you want to be a leader, sales is good. You may teach a few things in sales. That's fine. But if somebody's going to be, someone's going to make a real difference in other lives and in other people's lives, it's not just about sales. If you know a lot about a subject, that's fantastic. It's not going to earn you, too much, but a little bit. And again, just because you're first there doesn't mean you're going to be great. And then last but not least, the position that you have will give you some time. So take advantage of that. So remember, leadership and influence is a gift. And please take it seriously. But happy Friday, you guys. Hope you guys have a fantastic week. Please join the Clear channel. Please share it with friends, family, anyone that you feel that can learn from it. Our mission again on the channel is to help change the world one leader at a time. I have some people lining up over the next few weeks that are some incredible entrepreneurs that are going to come in and share their stories of success and share their stories of getting their ass kicked and how they turned it around. So I'm excited about that. But happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for jumping on today live and on the recording. I'll see you guys in the audience. Take care.